We are witnessing hockey histories. The Edmonton Oilers and Florida Panthers went back and forth in Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. What a game. I mean, still trying to wrap my head around what happened last night. We all thought the Oilers were dead in the water, or most of us anyways. I mean, myself, I had that little bit of doubt, but in the second and third period, and especially in overtime, the Edmonton Oilers showed exactly what kind of team they are with their back against the wall. We'll break down Game 4 today, and a whole lot more today on Oilers Digest, but 85% of you have not yet subscribed to the channel, so for any and all Oiler news, folks, this is the place to be. I mean, this is one of the greatest Stanley Cup Finals of all time, and we have yet to see Game 5, so for your Oiler news, make sure you hit that button down below. Now, let's get right into it. Folks, call an ambulance, but not for me, as the Edmonton Oilers in Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final defy the odds there in comeback on the Florida Panthers, winning this one 5-4 in overtime, as Jack Michaels likes to call it on the radio right now for the Oilers radio network there. But the Oilers 5-4 in overtime. And in the first period, they've fallen into penalty trouble yet again. Is it the awful officiating? Is it the undisciplined play by the Oilers in the first period last night? I mean, little to column A, little to column B, but that did lead to two out of the three Florida Panther goals in the first period, both by the Turtle, Matthew Tkachuk. They were both on the power play, and then before the first period ended, a bit of a mishap there by Draisaitl. I mean, he was high-sticked, if we want to call a spade here. He was high-sticked by Carter Verhaeghe. Goes uncalled there, and Anton Lundell puts the puck in the back of the net, making it 3-0 Panthers. And, of course, that led to the end of the night for Stuart Skinner, as he went with 14 saves there. You know what? He was probably the best Oiler in that first period, despite giving up 3 goals against the team in front of him. Absolutely ranted there, putting up an 8-24. It was more so a mercy pull there, but Calvin Pickard coming in relief in getting the win the rest of the way. There's some fantastic sauce by Pickard, and especially an even better one in overtime on Sam Bennett there. Potentially a series saver there, but from Kris Knoblauch and his mentality, his decision to pull Stuart Skinner, said it's unfortunate for Stu to be pulled there. Our team was flat. We needed to change things up, and the change was great. The way he played, picks and made some really big saves. It was great to see him make the saves when we needed him, and the spark in the second period kickstarted there by Nugent-Hopkins on the power play from Draisaitl in McDavid, and then Darnell Nurse with a sharp shot makes it 3-2 Panthers, and then Vasily Podkolzin shortly thereafter a backhand shovel on net. Normally, we're shoveling in the wintertime, but Vasily Podkolzin shoveling in June and ties the game up in the third period. Is very neck and neck, very even. But Jake Walman at 13:36 of the third period, off of a fantastic forecheck from Kapanen in Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Kapanen finds Jake Walman all alone there and makes it 4-3 Oilers. Now with the final minute of the game, the Oilers in their own zone, hoping to close this one out, but the Panthers unfortunately tie it. 20 seconds left in the third period. Sam Reinhart shovels the puck past Cal Pickard and makes it 4-4, heading to overtime there. And in overtime, the power of German engineering rears his face yet again there with Leon Draisaitl, his 11th of the postseason at 11:18 of overtime there, and everybody could go to sleep happily ever after that one there. But the Oilers down 3-0. It's clawing, scratching, doing everything they can to find their way back. And these Oilers, again, a never say die attitude. And when they don't fall to Florida's, goonery, their tactics, we can see what kind of team the Oilers can be. As in contrast, a very, very stark contrast to Monday when the Oilers were down and then Florida started getting in their face and Edmonton retaliated. Not the case last night whatsoever. Edmonton staying calm, cool, and collected. They're the 3 C's on their way to AW last night. Their shots on goal 40-35 in favor of the Florida Panthers. There hits 34-25. Both teams dead even there. 41 face-offs apiece. The Oilers power play again could use a little shaking up there, only going 1 for 4 on the power play. But I mean, the one power play goal did kickstart the comeback there. Meanwhile, Florida going 2 for 4 on their 4-man advantages there. So for the Oilers, I mean, 28 block shots in front of both Pickard and Skinner there, just willing to lay out for the puck there, and it's very interesting. I don't know who's doing the stats here, but 0 takeaways by the Oilers. I doubt that incredibly, but hey, what do I know, right? But for these Oilers in Leon Draisaitl, he's not surprised by this. He's saying, what, that's what we do. We're a resilient group. We're never going to quit no matter what. We'll take it in, go home there. Not just that, but I mean, Leon Draisaitl very nonchalant as he sets an NHL record for most OT winners in a postseason there with 4 in a single year. Not just that, but also setting the Oilers franchise record for playoff overtime winners, which is fantastic considering, heading into round 1 against the LA Kings, Leon Draisaitl had a donut, 0 career playoff overtime winners. Now he not only sets the Oilers franchise record, formerly held by Glenn Anderson, but sets an NHL record with 4 goals in a 4 overtime playoff goals in a single postseason there. So if that's not clutch, folks, not too sure what is. And the Oilers, lots of history here, not just Leon Draisaitl individually making history on the record book there, but also the Oilers became the first road team to rally from down 3 to win a game in the final since the Montreal Canadiens against the Seattle Metropolitans in 1919. So only 6 teams have come back from down 3 in the final. Last time in 2006, coincidentally enough, also involving the Edmonton Oilers, but they were on the opposite side, losing game 1 to the Carolina Hurricanes there. Yes, the dreaded Rollercoaster injury game. The Oilers blowing that one late in the third period, but this time in 2025, this ain't 2006 anymore. The Oilers are a much better team, and they found a way to get it done when the going got tough there. Not just that, but the Oilers are the first team in the Stanley Cup final history to win after trailing by 3 or more goals after the first period. Teams with the first period edge were 37-0 before tonight's result, so the Oilers are the 1-37-1 there. So this team, again, you show them the odds and able to find every single time there, and this is just what this team is built for. They can have guys, suffer season-ending injuries, Zach Hyman, but they also have other players stepping up, like you saw Vasily Podkolzin stepping up last night. Jeff Skinner had a very good game. I mean, he didn't get onto the score sheet, but you could see him on the ice there, being a little spark plug that he could be there. So all the love to Jeff Skinner there. I mean, only his 3rd career playoff game, but hey, his first in the Stanley Cup final. That's more than that's more than most of the Toronto Maple Leafs. But hey, again, the Leafs are having their own problems right now. But the Oilers had their own problems in the first period there. You can see the blue streak across the first period there for the Florida Panthers. The Oilers giving up 14 scoring chances for. Half of those were high danger chances for the Florida Panthers. So the Oilers, again, another slow start there, but slowly began to wake up during the second period, and then in the third, in overtime, of course, the third, the Panthers, I had the little bit of an edge there, but the Oilers, showing that they will not die, and again, had the Jake Wallman go-ahead goal in the third period, and again, it only took the Panthers with less than 20 seconds left, or 20 seconds left exactly, to get the tying goal there, but these Oilers, again, on a mission there. Not just that, but again, Leon Draisaitl, opposite ends of the spectrum there, I had simultaneously the best and worst line on the ice there. Again, Evander Kane didn't have himself the strongest of games. Kasper Kapanen had that great chance in the third period, or the great assist to Jake Wallman there, but that line just did not have anything good going for them, and I expected that heading into last night's game in the preview video there. That was the only line out of the 4 that was questionable in my eyes, and it was right as you put Podkolzin in Perry next to Leon Draisaitl there, and good things will happen. As I mentioned, Jeff Skinner with Adam Henrique and Trent Frederick, that line needed a change, needed a boost, and Jeff Skinner was the perfect piece to complement that entire line there. So very excited to see that. The first line with Nugent-Hopkins, McDavid, and Brown. Very high event there, getting outshot, but not by a whole lot against the Florida Panthers there, but hopefully we can see, Connor McDavid go nuclear, go supernova at home to the Florida Panthers on Saturday night. But Kris Knoblauch had no doubt in this team, even after the first period. There was a speech by Corey Perry there during the first period, telling the team, look in the mirror, look where we are. Not a whole lot of teams get to the spot, and especially in the salary cap era, twice in a row, but Corey Perry reeling the fellows back in and getting them to realize what kind of situation they're in. But Kris Knoblauch said, I knew we could come back. It's not easy to, but I know with the group that we have, we can do it. We just got to dig in and win a few more battles and play a little bit smarter. The guys didn't quit there, and really the only thing the Oilers could capitalize on is just keeping the stick infractions to an all-time low. We saw, Darnell Nurse and Evander Kane, swinging the stick up high. And the Panthers, we saw them make us pay in the first period last night, so the Oilers just need to be a little bit smarter as the game begins there. But Jake Wallman, great goal. Didn't gritty last night, unfortunately, but still a pretty fantastic celly. They're jumping into the arms of his Oiler teammates, but he's excited to get back to Alberta there in our Back to Berta segment. The Oilers, two, very entertaining games in Florida. I mean, one wasn't so entertaining on the scoring wise, but the brouhahas, the brawls, the shenanigans, whatever you want to call it, that was pretty entertaining. But last night, I would argue, is a little bit more up our alley there. But Jake Wallman says it's the craziest hockey I've ever played in. But I feel like in front of our fans, that will even ramp up a little bit more. So excited to get back home to the Terror Dome. I haven't heard it being called the Terror Dome in quite a long time there. But these Oilers against the Florida Panthers tomorrow night, game number 5 there at Rogers Place, 7 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Mountain on Sportsnet in CBC. But that is it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts on last night's game were and your thoughts heading into game 5 there. I mean, are you expecting the Oilers to take a 3-2 series lead, or do you think, it might get to their head a little bit? We've seen this happen with this team time and time again, where, after big wins, come out flat the next game. But, of course, these Oilers know what the prize is. Eyes on the prize, and, just looking to cement their legacy as an entire team. But if you haven't already, also make sure you subscribe here to the channel. But folks, have yourselves a fantastic Friday. The weekend is upon us, and Game 5 is upon us tomorrow night. So take care. I'm Matt.